Hello, my darlings. Welcome to the Kambura Podcast, and we are constantly honored to have you join us. In this season, we are delving deep into emotion, identity, and faith. As you can see, I'm in a t-shirt because we constantly take our emotions so casually. Yes, today we are talking about emotions. One thing that most of us constantly struggle with, and I'll first start with my own story. I have constantly ran away from expressing the way I feel, expressing my anger, expressing the way I think and everything. And at this point in time, since I'm still working on that progress, or I'm still working on myself, I think we can do this together. We are wounded healers, right? Anyway, if you are really struggling with expressing your emotions, sometimes it's not because of you, sometimes it might be because of you, but it is your responsibility to actually learn about emotions and break that perspective that you have towards you bottling up every form of emotion. We claim that emotions are messy. We claim that they are sinful. But guess what? They are holy and acceptable because they were created in you. Right? Yes, emotions are really important in the life of every human being. So come on, let's dig deep into what emotions really are. Emotions are sacred, and one way of honoring them is by expressing them. In that way, you also honor yourself. Emotions are the responses to external or even internal stimuli. Most of us, we actually understand what emotions are. Emotions, these are responses to external or even internal stimuli. There are different sets of emotions. We have anger, we have joy, we have fear, we have disgust, frustration, amongst many others. And emotions are not seen, like it's not sinful to actually express yourself, but emotions are really important. Number one, they actually alert you of danger. And how do you express this? By being fearful, right? Yes. The other thing is they help you even in decision making, right? There's this thing we say we have the gut feeling, or we say that we have the intuition. That helps you because you have emotions, okay? Emotions can be expressed in different ways by different people, but what most of us actually do is actually bottle them up. And emotional suppression kills most of us. But we need to be able to regulate our emotions so that we may be able to communicate. And that is why something called emotional intelligence is really important. And maybe you might be asking what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is the ability to, number one, recognize. Number two, manage, okay? And in this way, you're able to do so many things just because you are able to maintain a conversation without bursting, without even overreacting. And maybe I can give myself as an example. Recently, I was talking with some friends and they pointed out something that I had not noticed for the longest, that every single time, for instance, someone steps or triggers me in a specific area, I get angry. And so many times I never realized that I'm actually getting angry. So sometimes people think that I'm actually suppressing it. But guess what? I didn't even know that is how I reacted. And that is why I'm saying it is important for us to understand what emotions are. Then it will be easy for us to not only converse with people, but also understand what human beings are conveying out there. Because if I'm able to understand what triggers me and I know how to react towards the specific trigger, and that means I will be able to react rightly, right? I'll be able to maintain a conversation with people, not regarding the things that I'm fearing or anything, or people are fearing to express themselves to me just because they are afraid that I'm going to get angry. And sometimes I don't even notice that I'm actually getting angry. You know, when someone actually talks of specific thing, maybe my education, and they step on me and then I react towards that. And then I don't know I reacted towards that. Sometimes it's because I didn't know or I did not understand what are emotions. And that is why we're here. And now we're going to break down what emotional intelligence is and the different techniques that can be able to help us break down, and those techniques can be able to help us even maintain specific conversations with different people. So let's delve deep into the various mastering techniques of EQ. EQ is very important. Statistics says that 15% of success is from IQ. And then the rest, 85%, is from EQ. So here are the various techniques. And guess what? I'm also learning. Okay? You see, we're also learning. So number one, we need to learn emotional vocabulary. You know, most of us, we actually say that we're not feeling well. Like, I'm just not okay, guys. Okay? But what if we actually learn the specific details to these specific feelings? So, are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you not well in the sense that you are really not doing okay, that you are sick or something? Once you're able to learn these various vocabularies, then you can be able to, express yourself. Are we together? Because if you're able to name an emotion, then that means it's going to give you at least 50% or less of its intensity. Okay? That means we need to name our emotions. Number two, we need to be able to build up our social skills. Okay, and we're building up our social skills. That means we need to be able to speak, okay, maintain eye contact. But so many times we end up just speaking a lot. Kwanza mimi naongeaga sana, but we need to be able to build up this listening skill. This is a skill that most of us have not been able to build it, but the best of us have actually been able to build it. So let us build our social skill. Are you able to nod in a conversation? Are you able to maintain eye contact? Okay, are you able to ask open-ended questions? Most of us, we don't even ask open-ended questions. We just ask closed-ended questions. We just want a yes or a no. And sometimes if someone does not answer in the specific derail that we have actually placed before them, then we end up feeling like we are not satisfied, right? Then we have number 3 technique. There's something called FORM. Okay, it's an acronym whereby F means family, O means occupation, R means recreation, and then M means message. And number 3 techniques tells us to be able to master small talk. Most of us don't like small talk. We don't like to ask how is our family doing. We don't like to know what people are actually doing out there. We don't want to know people's recreation. But guess what? One way of improving your emotional intelligence is being able to actually get to converse with people. Just the small talk. Getting to understand how is someone's family doing. Okay, what are they doing for a living? What are their hobbies? Okay, and once you're able to ask some of these questions, you bring up a connection, not just physically, but also emotionally. And that is what it means to be emotionally intelligent. Okay, then number 4, we have micro expressions. We need to be able to master micro expressions, and this includes the various gestures, the facial expressions. When you are maybe confused, you might be able to at least raise an eyebrow. Well, not most of us can do that, but when you're able to at least show, okay, for instance, maybe you are not in agreement and you can tight your lips like this, okay, because you're like, no, we cannot do that. Yeah, okay. And in these micro expressions, just remember that 85 of our conversations, all of them, most of them basically are non-verbal, and that is why we need to master our non-verbal cues. Nika tumerudi darasa ya kizungu. Either way, if you're able to master these micro expressions, then that means you'll be able to converse with people in the right way. Are we together? And then number 5, we call it the 1 second body scan. Okay, every single time you're angry, you're sad, you're frustrated, give yourself at least 1 to 3 seconds to breathe, to be able to just diagnose yourself and get to see, are my shoulders tensed? Okay, am I losing my breath? Is my breath fast or slow? Is my jaw clenching? Some of these things, if you're able to just notice the different body changes, then you'll be able to actually express them vizuri. Are we together? Because if you're able to understand your physique and how you change in specific episodes, then you'll be able to understand, this is how I'm supposed to reflect, this is how I'm supposed to give a specific outcome, this is how I'm supposed to express myself. But if you're unable to do some of these things, then that means we'll not be able to actually express yourselves. Okay, for me, for instance, when I get extremely angry, okay, I feel ni kama huku hivi kuna fungana. I feel like my trachea is being inafinywa hivi, okay? And so many times I'm unable to actually notice that. But ever since I noticed that every single time I'm angry, I feel that, so many times I either draw back, I step back, I walk away, then I go count at least 1 to 3 seconds. I breathe in, I breathe out. There's this specific technique called the 4-second, 7-second, and 8-second rule, whereby you breathe in for 4 seconds using your nose, okay? You breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold your breath for at least 7 seconds, okay? And then after that, you breathe through your mouth. And for me, that one actually works a jam, okay? Other than prayer, of course. Anytime I'm angry, when I don't feel like breathing, I go to the Holy Spirit and just tell him, you know what, by the way, I'm not feeling well. This person has not done me well, okay? Let me give you for instance. There's this specific time I was in town, and someone, hey, how should I do this? This is a really sad story. In 2022, I didn't have a place to stay. So a friend of mine actually suggested that we actually take our things to his place, then I should go back home. So for the past 3 days, within that session of us waiting for him, he did not talk to us. So we were very frustrated in that moment, okay? And then, since we worked in the same place, we decided, you know what? Let us go to the office and actually look for this guy. Remember at this point, we were with my friend. Alikuwa my roommate. So we were like, let us go kwa office, alafu tuoneka tutapata umsi. So tumeenda hivi kwa ofisi, ametuona, guess what? He chucks, he gets out. And then we're like, okay, we'll just follow him. We ask where he's around. Like tukauliza wase, ameenda wapi? Tukaambiwa ni hoteli fulani palivo archives. Yeah, nikifikanga archives na kuanga na PTSD. Anyway, so tumefika hapo hivyo archives, we actually see him in the hotel, and we're like, you know what, we're gonna wait for him out here. So remember, this is the 3rd day, okay? Yeah, the 3rd day, yeah, if I'm not wrong. The 3rd day, after us waiting for him, after us sleeping outside, after us, oh Lord, it was frustrating. Anyway, so while we were waiting for him, tulikuwa tuna entertain a certain watchman hapo hivyo nje. For whatever reason, we didn't even have money to actually pay for our own meals. Either way. So while we were waiting for him, he decides to show up, akatoka. Then while he's coming out, he's like, you know what, Val? I will not be able to actually host your things tonight, neither you and your friend. So guess what? You guys find a different place to actually put your stuff, because my dad is actually in town. Dude, it's been 3 days, and today's the 3rd day, and you're telling us that, hey, where do you want us to go? So in the middle of town, I was really angry, and disclaimer, I didn't know how to actually express myself. So remember, I'm already frustrated, I'm disgusted, I am sad, I don't even know how I'm supposed to be feeling. And this specific time, this guy comes and drops that bomb, and you're like, oh, how am I supposed to actually react, please? So in the middle of town, guess what I do? Me and my friend, I start screaming. Like, what is wrong with you? How can you do this to us? Najua watu hapo hivyo archives hiyo time, watu wange record ningesaini ningekuwa na trend, because I was really mad. And the only way I could actually express myself is through shouting. But what if I actually had this information? Maybe I could have just calmed down, taken my few seconds of breathing, that is 4 seconds, 7 seconds, and then 8 seconds of breathing out. And then maybe I would have been feeling much better. Of course, I didn't have a place to go, and I was not going to be feeling okay. But if I had this information, then it would be easier for me to actually express myself, okay? And remember, you being able to express yourself shows self-respect. Okay, and for me staying there for close to 3 days, me and my friend, that shows our lack of self-respect. And guess what? Not going back there. Nah, we're not doing that again. That is lack of respect. And guess what? I'm not doing that again. So anyway, if you need to respect yourself, one way of starting is by you understanding your emotions, you being able to actually express yourself. If not, I tell you, you are disrespecting who you are. And remember, self-expression is a way of showing people that you actually understand who you are. So if you're unable to actually express yourself, then that means you do not understand who you are. The greatest discovery of any generation is that if you're able to alter your mind, then that means you can be able to alter everything concerning your life. If you're able to actually alter even your attitude, then that means you can be able to do so many things. And remember, emotional intelligence isn't just about mastering your emotions. It's about embracing your strength, okay? Because emotions are not your weaknesses, they are your strength. And that will enable you to actually step into power, because you are the person who is able to know yourself and express yourself in the right way that your heart desires. But this only comes once you master what? Emotional intelligence. For instance, let us look at Samson. Samson was a man who was not brought down because of his mightiness. He was brought down just because of his emotion. Other than that, we can dig deep to the Bible perspective and get to see that, number one, God actually did what? Created emotions. Okay? Yeah, he did create emotions. Because we are made not only because of him, but we are also made because of his. We are also made in his image and also what? In his likeness. And that is why we are here to understand emotions. Because number one, God got angry, right? God was compassionate, right? God also was very joyous. Yeah, when he actually made man, he was like, oh God, I have made something good. Well, of course, he did not call himself. But he was like, that is really good. And he was joyous, right? He was compassionate. Every single time we see him, what does he do? He becomes compassionate. So that means him being a God himself, being the Lord of Lords, that means he is able to actually express himself. So who are you not to actually express yourself? His son Jesus Christ also expressed himself even when he was in that lowest moment. Jesus Christ wept when he was praying to God, and he was like, Father, take this cup away from me. He was also crying, okay? Of which, he was sweating with blood. But he was feeling everything, okay? Even when those people were actually selling in the temple, he got angry. And what did he do? He actually flogged them out, because this was his father's house. So God actually did what? He created emotions, okay? Then we have number two. Emotions are not sinful. Yes, they are not sinful. But how you react to them, now that can be sinful. Okay? How you react towards your anger, how you react towards your joy, and amongst all those things. There's this common phrase that says, don't make various decisions or very important decisions when you are in your extremes. Whether you're extremely happy or extremely sad, you're extremely angry or extremely frustrated, don't make your decisions in that specific episode, because constantly it is so easy for us to fall or go astray in these specific time frames of our anger, in these specific time frames of our frustrations, because it's so easy. Because once our emotions are not tucked in well, they go haywire. Just like the waves, they will go east, west, and they might be able to actually tilt you as a so-called boat, metaphorically speaking. Okay? Just remember, emotions are not sinful. Okay? But how you react to them, now that is what really matters. Okay? Then we have number three. Number three is one of the most important points that you need to actually hold on to, because you need to actually express yourself, okay? Not just in your speech, but in the way you think. You need to actually brace the specific moment, okay? And work them out in ways that only you can be able to point out to everyone else. Remember, emotional intelligence is not just because you are able to manage or recognize, but it also points out to how you react to everyone who is around you, how sensitive you are to everyone who is around you. So point number three is learn to express yourself, because through the process, you are able to actually heal. And of course, someone might be able to actually step on you, cross your boundaries amongst all these other things, but in your expression, you're actually able to heal, okay? And in this case, that is where the various fruits of the Holy Spirit come in, okay? That is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and then what? Self-control. One of the greatest things that most of us don't have, that is self-control. And regardless of all these different fruits that we need to cultivate, obviously, self-control will help you not only in expression, but also in ways of healing, okay? That is why they're called fruits of the Holy Spirit. So in the absence of the Holy Spirit, sometimes it might be hard to actually exercise these specific fruits. So if you're in lack of any specific fruit, then that means you need help. So get back to your helper. That is the Holy Spirit, your comforter and your constant help. So yes, how do you heal? By expression. That's one way. I'm not saying that is the main way, but that is one way of healing, by expressing yourself. Because there's this common saying that says, a problem shared is a problem half solved. And how you express it, now that really matters. Emotional literacy builds up resilience. Renewing your mind helps you express yourself effortlessly. Emotions can be regulated, and there's a fruit called the fruit of self-control by the Holy Spirit. And that means healing once you're able to control yourself. Okay? Remember, your emotions are not the enemy. They're just a part of your humanity, created by a holy God.